And we are live. Let us make sure everything is operating properly before we go into tonight's introduction. This will require me to check. All right, seems like things are looking fine on my end. All we need to do now is actually mute that for a little bit and let it play towards the end. Then we need to add some things on this end to make sure the sound is working properly. Now, I have had some problems with sound. It seems to be an issue with StreamYard. Sorry about coughing on the air there. And the issue with StreamYard is that it seems to not be handling sound properly for Google and Chrome. So we'll see if we actually have decent sound when we share the video. So let's play it for a little bit. All right, that should be enough for me to determine. And now let's see if we can actually get things going the way it's supposed to. All right. Oh, come on. It should. Okay, there we go. It's very quiet, so there's a couple things we can do to fix that. And in a few seconds, the stream should catch up. In the meantime, I have to continue talking. It's still not working. Is there any way I can do this? Huh. I don't really know why this happens. It's kind of irritating. So what we're going to do is turn closed captions on the video so you can kind of read along. Because that's the best I can do for now. I am sorry about that. All right, we'll go here. And let's take this out for a little bit because we don't really need this right now. All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Mad Computer Scientist. On this channel, I discuss math, computer science, and technology topics that are of interest to me. On Friday nights, I do something a little different and look at videos I think that are poor in logic or videos I can find at the last minute because I usually don't plan ahead for these, which is a mistake. For those of you who have followed this channel for over a year, you know I've had a fascination with Terrence Howard's bad math. I kind of thought I was done with it for a while because Howard himself seemed to be going by the wayside, perhaps because everyone was laughing at his statement that 1 times 1 equals 2, which breaks both the fundamental theorem of algebra and the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Wait, hold on. His 1 times 1 equals 2 statement doesn't break that, but his square root of 2 loop does break the fundamental theorem of algebra. It's also something, if you saw one of my recent posts, can be shown to do with any number that is greater than 0 because I used a proof by induction. And of course, mathematics proofs are absolute, which is one of the reasons why people who want to prove God often try mathematical proofs, because they think if they use a mathematical proof, therefore they prove God. Now, some disclaimers about these individuals. Russell Brand is, as far as I can tell, a terrible human being who has had multiple allegations of SA against him. Terrence Howard is not quite that bad, but he has had multiple credible allegations of, let's just say, treating his domestic partners not so nicely. I am making no commentary on whether I believe these things or not. We're just going to examine the bad math and science that I can spot, point out any logic flaws, and maybe have a little fun along the way. And maybe I should actually share the video we're going to show before we actually get into it. We're going to start from the beginning, and again, I have turned closed captions on because I know there's a problem with the sound, and that is annoying. I hope StreamYard fixes it. What happened there? I can hear the sound on my end. Oh, I realized what did happen there. Wait, hold on. Are there storms in the area? I don't think there are. That would explain some of the weird internet things that are going on. Let's check the weather.com and see if we can. All right. No, I don't want to full screen that. All right, so no, there's nothing on the radar that would indicate a thunderstorm. No, I assume you're better at math. In other words, he's a grifter. I can't imagine why any cynical people, especially cynical people who have passed basic math or high school physics, would attack Howard over anything after such claims as 1 times 1 equals 2, and of course his most famous one, related to physics, that the sun poops out planets. Come on. Is it trying to use Wi-Fi again when I don't want it to? No, it says it's wired. Honestly, I think maybe my ISP is having some issues, which is going to make this difficult if it doesn't sort things out. And why did we get rid of the closed captions? If you think I'm paying you $15 to get Rumble Premium, you are sadly mistaken. If anyone else wants to provide that link for me to a video I don't have to pay for to comment on the full thing, they're welcome to do so, but you don't deserve the money, Russell Brand, and neither does Rumble. Fantastic conversation. Haters are gonna love hating this because this is 2 men of scant education using a lot of very Oh boy, did you call that one. Scant education sounds about right. It's an ontological discourse that's part rap and part rhapsody. You're gonna love it. Let me know what you think in the comment. My question is, why did the YouTube closed captioning algorithm misspell Rhapsody? And why couldn't I think of that? All right, Terrence Howard, thanks so much for joining me for Stay Free with Russell Brand. Thank you for having me on this. I've enjoyed your brand. Do you know what? Man, like, I'm doing this. I'm exhausted. I can't cope with the news cycle. I can't cope with the pressure of generating content on social media. Russell, let me assure you that you'll get a lot less negative comments from women if you start to button your shirt. No one wants to see that. What are you doing? Thanks for the compliment, by the way. I'll keep my way down that you put me in. No one knows what you're talking about. I think this is something that happened before the show. Oh, great. We get to see someone pump Terrence Howard's ego up. If there's one thing I know Terrence Howard has a huge problem with, it's being humble. One thing I've also is like you, like me, have entered into a more kind of you've come out of a space that let's call it for brevity, mainstream, in a more peripheral media spaces. How are you coping with what I assume are constant attacks? Well, those attacks are generally well-deserved, but very seldom are they at his character. They're at his inability to understand mathematics. He is talking to Terrence Howard, who set the math world by storm last year with the startling revelation that 1 times 1 equals 2. And instead of sparking a math revolution like Terrence Howard wanted, it sparked an intense debate between mathematicians and computer scientists about what were the best ways to mock him. What? Okay, I think that's physics babble that is kind of correct, but goes off the rails because he doesn't really understand what he's talking about. So, yes, every action does have an equal and opposite reaction, which does not apply to math the way Terrence Howard thinks it does, but friction itself is another action and reaction scenario, Howard. Shaun? Okay, I'll try not to make fun of him for the way he pronounces words. So great, we're all gods, so we don't have to pray or do anything, so don't join any church. Is that what you mean? I'm cool with that. The New Zealand one, and they were in Tasmania? What is this, a Bugs Bunny cartoon? I don't know what you're talking about. Are you going to elucidate? Okay. Oh, that was on my end again. Was it don't really make an ass of yourself if you want to be an Iron Man 2 and demand more money than the star is actually going to get? Was this before or after you went to jail? Because I understand you probably are going there. Great, so you taught yourself your spiritual perspective. Isn't that something we all kind of do? I don't think being an autodidactic for spiritual perspectives is in any way astonishing. I believe it's called the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. Wait, are you saying that it's not normal to go to a university? I do know that as someone with a bachelor's degree, that is something only 30% of Americans have, but that's not a small number of people. Going to a university is a very normal experience. I am pretty sure psychedelics are one thing that are affecting his mental state right now. Or, as some people have pointed out, he may be starting a cult to detract himself from criticism. Kind of like what Kent Hovind is doing with Dinosaur Adventureland. Believing things that crazy people believe isn't necessarily a bad thing unless you believe the things that people say they're crazy for believing. And even that is something of a problematic thing. Now, if I believed the delusions of someone like Terrence Howard about math, yes, that might make me in some people's eyes crazy. If, on the other hand, I believe, like Terrence Howard does, that the world is round, that's not a crazy idea. Oh my god, please don't mistake Howard for an engineer. The most he did with engineering is hire some people to make a drone for him, and the multi-rotor drone was known before Howard dreamed it up, and the way Howard wanted it to work was actually a difficult thing to engineer because it's not the efficient way to do it. Well, that could be the case. I think being delusional can help you be happy more easily. Can I get some ranch with that word salad? Because I didn't understand that meant anything. No, Terrence Howard. What you received was mockery because you were spouting math that anyone who passed second grade knows is wrong. Not only that, you did other things like called Blender simulation software. Anyone who uses open source software will encounter Blender and know it's a 3D animation program. It also has a really good video editor, but unless you're a really good Python programmer, you're not going to use Blender for any sort of simulation. That is some patent Terrence Howard nonsense. None of what he said meant anything. For the people who are going to come in my comment section and say I don't understand him, I'd like to remind you that I actually passed second grade math. If I may be more serious for a second here, there are some really traumatic things in Terrence Howard's past that involve his father. Look up the Santa line incident. I think you've confused the Who rock opera Tommy for reality there, Terrence. And what exactly are we supposed to gain from that? Shapes don't mean anything, Terrence Howard. They're not mystical. They're just pleasing geometric arrangements, usually. You know, Terrence, I could blow your mind and be correct by telling you that a triangle on a sphere can have 390-degree angles. Sorry, I wasn't quite correct there. A triangle in spherical geometry, not on a sphere, can have 390-degree angles. Yes, I too base my reality on movies. That's why I choose to believe that I am in Nothing But Trouble, the John Candy and Chevy Chase movie. You know, if I woke up somewhere without pants on, unless I was wearing a dress or a skirt, I really don't think my first concern would be, how did I get here? The first concern, especially if it was somewhere public and not somewhere private, was, how do I cover up my legs? Then, after that was taken care of, and some other things, how did I get here would not be very far down that list. Really? Jehovah's Witnesses get the Akashic record? All I got as a Mormon was lousy underwear. Oh my gosh, Terrence Howard. Eric Weinstein told you not to teach for a reason. It's because you don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't even meant to be mean. It was trying to tell you, hey, you're in over your head. Yes, and most people take from that that the Bible is wrong about humans being 5,000 years old. Oh, that was my. Oh, in this case, it isn't me. It's. And if I claim the brush I am holding, you're just going to have to take my word that I'm holding a brush, is God's hairbrush. Are you going to believe that just because this video said it? Yes, the Bible claims to be God's word. I will not dispute that. But it is not the only book that claims to be God's word. As an ex-Mormon, I had 3 more books that claimed to be God's word. And not only were all the books contradictory in various places, but there were statements from the leaders that later contradicted the things in the holy books. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Terrence. Single cell gametes are neither brothers nor sisters. They are just single cells. They're not even human yet. The human only starts existing when the cells combine to be a fertilized zygote. We can add biology to the list of sciences you don't understand, but we already knew that. Because you've also told us that carbon was bisexual. And no, I'm not making that up, folks. You really said that. Oh my gosh. You really don't understand. Okay. I need to back up here because that just could be a mistranslation of the particular algorithm that Google is using for its closed caption. I'm going to type that out in chat, what he's trying to say. And the Chinese phrase that Terrence Howard is trying to get at means doing without doing, an important Taoist concept. But I doubt Howard understood it. All right, can you please close the door and stop embarrassing yourself on podcasts? Oh, look, quantum mysticism nonsense. I haven't seen that in a while. I can give you this much credit, Russell Brand. If you're going to use quantum mysticism nonsense, I will understand that as well as I understand quantum physics. The only difference is I'm pretty sure there's real science behind quantum physics. And I also know that quantum physicists were behind the fourth, fifth, and sixth derivatives being named snap, crackle, and pop, respectively. And no, I'm not making that up. So, until someone opens the box, if I'm understanding you correctly, we're both alive and dead at the same time. And until someone actually observes us inside the box, we exist in both states. Suddenly, when someone opens the box, the waveform collapses, and then we exist in one or the other states, either alive or dead. So, does that mean Schrodinger's cat is on dead? And again, it seems we are having some issues with the internet. Let's go back to full screen. Full screen. Hit refresh. Sorry, I meant to hit F5. Give it some time. Full screen it again. I don't know why it did that over. Oh, great. So we're perfect already and I don't have to do anything. Okay, so why am I listening to you? Wait, solipsism? We're going to do solipsism here? Geez, if I wanted to make solipsism jokes, I would have watched In Time tonight. Christ came to you in pain? Was that before or after he got hung up on the cross? Oh, you mean your pain. Okay. Do I really want to go back in time on this video? I don't. All right. And certainly we will get humility if you're talking to Terrence Howard. And okay, that was not something I meant to show on screen. Come on, stop doing that. I know the USB hub needs replaced. But every time the USB hub needs to be replaced, goes out, you don't need to stop the video. That is irritating and annoying. We were already here. All right, we already did this. All reality is encompassed within us? No wonder it feels so crowded in here. So are you announcing that you're a member of a 12-step program? Is that what I'm getting from all of this? I'm sorry, but even I, as an asexual, are getting an image of a sex act. Can we please skip this particular description? Is that because you're in severe legal trouble because all of the SA allegations against you? I mean, that could be it. I don't want to imply anything. Oh, come on. Computer, stop doing this every time. The headset goes out. There's no need to do that. Restart the video. Not at the... This is getting irritating. If my car had been fixed, I would have fixed this already. Reality itself is a type of chemical construct. It's difficult to argue against it. Excuse me, there are things in reality that are not chemical. Energy is not chemical. Now, a lot of things we experience are, in very literal senses, chemical constructs, especially if we can interact with it in some way, or we can pick it up. But that does not mean the whole of reality is a chemical construct. Unfortunately, Terrence is full of hubris, and if you had been paying attention to his career over the last year or so, you know he's trying to promote himself as a cult leader. How is the ocean registering anything? The ocean does not register things. It doesn't have any ability to sense anything. It's not a living organism with any way of sensing the world around it. Now, it is a system, I'll give you that, but it's a system that operates based on physics. There's no mind behind it. Oh my gosh, Terrence. I think you understand sine and cosine are both wave functions, but I think you think cosine is something different than it actually is. Things don't need to cosine each other's existence, nor does anything that isn't like some sort of thing that can be expressed as a triangle in some way capable of having cosines. I think you misunderstand what the mathematical function is. Terrence, I know you don't watch my videos, but cosine is a mathematical ratio. If you passed school trigonometry, you probably remember that cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. It's a ratio, Terrence, much like pi. It has nothing to do with loans. And again, this is just more Terrence Howard gibberish because pressure and motion conditions mean nothing. That was very jarring. Let's do the mid-roll ad right in the middle of Terrence Howard's rant. I am not signing up for Rumble there, Russell. Wait, in what universe, when someone offers you drugs, do you have to take it? Many people understand there are a lot of reasons people don't do drugs, and as long as you politely decline the drug, you're generally okay. You know, Mr. Howard, there is a saying about what gets paid with good intentions. Fortunately, it isn't real, so you're good. So I guess what we can get from this particular segment is we should all give in to our lusts. Oh, come on. This is getting a little annoying. According to the scriptures, for 30 years, Jesus said that he was the Son of God. Where do we find that in the scriptures? Because I don't think it ever says that. Yes, Mr. Howard, as the great prophets King Missile once observed, Jesus was way cool. Do you have a point here? Oh, you mean on my end? Yes, there is no sound because I have my mic muted. So I still have the same question I had before when I muted myself. Why does Jesus remember what Gabriel did? Did you even think about that before you said it? Yes, yes, we're all God. You said that before. I'm not buying it until I can personally turn water into Jägermeister. You know, I heard a very similar claim from young Pharaoh, and he was wrong then, except he was more wrong because he said black people could perform photosynthesis if they replaced the iron in their blood with magnesium. Well, chlorophyll and hemoglobin have very similar structures. They do not have identical structures. No, that's not the only difference, but ask a chemist, not someone with a computer science degree. Yes, a lot of organic molecules do have similar structures. The reason I know that plants don't dream is because they don't have the necessary organs to dream. Plants can't think because they don't have brains. It's that simple, Terrence. Um, Mr. Howard, the genitals of the plant, as you put it, are not in the stem. They're in the flower itself. All right, I do not care, and I am not paying you money to go watch you on Rumble. So that was Terrence Howard and Russell Brand being completely inane with each other. Not much I can do about that. I really wish that he had posted the whole thing on YouTube. And honestly, the next time I do this, hopefully I will have the USB hub fixed so it's not going in and out all the time. If you stayed with me this long, please like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to share this out. Until next time, go out and write some code.